Some guys really like Batman, and they had an epiphany. So they all got to work on the next Batman movie. And now they are the heroes, and you get to follow along. They're bringing him to life every week after this song. Batman, Project Batman, Project Batman. Fuck yeah!
Some guys really like Batman and they had an epiphany. They all got to work on the next Batman movie. And now they are the heroes and you get to follow along. They're bringing him to life every week after this song. Do you guys like it?
I like it.
We did it.
We did. Good job.
Now, you want to start this Batcast?
Okay.
Alright, week 3. Here we are, guys.
It's only week 3.
Sean's joining us again. Finally.
Finally, yeah.
1 week of absence equals a finally. Alright, so let's just get into it. What are you bringing to the table this week?
Well, last week you tasked me with doing a one-word sentence a la a Netflix description type thing of what the movie is, what it's about. So basically I've got following widespread genocide against humanity, an aging Batman must face the immortal Ra's al Ghul for what will be the final time.
Whoa. Following widespread genocide against humanity,
an aging Batman must face off against the immortal Ra's al Ghul for what will be the final time. It's not 12 words, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
Wait. I mean, it's a Netflix description. That's exactly what I would imagine.
Yeah, that's perfect.
There we go.
That's awesome. And anybody who reads that is automatically in.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's awesome. I love it. How do you spell Ra's al Ghul?
R-A''S.
Okay. And then Al Ghul?
Yes, A-L and a hyphen G-H-U-L.
Right.
I think only the G is capitalized.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not the A?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know, he's Arabic. I mean, he's got... I mean, when, easily a fifth of your name is just punctuation marks.
That's a good point. Okay. Do we want to go to that next step of that writing process, or do we want to go over the notes I took from what makes a good screenplay, or where do you guys want to go?
I'd like to hear the notes, honestly.
Okay. Alright, so like I said before, these are just notes from Film Crit Hulk's Screenwriting 101 online book that I took, and it's like really, really long, and I boiled it down to this. So, there's step by step, and I don't really remember right now what I did last week, so tell me if you remember me doing any of these before. But, number 1, love movies. Started thinking about how story is built in everything that you watch. Like, if you know the end of something you're about to watch, be just looking for those threads throughout the entire movie to show how it's leading towards the end.
That'll be really useful when I finally get off my ass and watch the Batman stuff that I told you guys to watch and you watched and I haven't yet.
It's okay. We're moving at a pretty good pace for whatever we're doing. Don't feel bad. You're fine.
After we're done with this, you want to watch Return of the Joker?
Sure, why not?
So I could stand to watch that like a million more times. So
yeah, I need to watch that a few times before we actually get into like the actual script writing, because I just think that's like the perfect movie to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the apotheosis of the whole DCAU right there. Okay, continue with your notes.
Okay.
And when we're done with that, I want to come up with. I have some scene ideas that I want you to hear.
Okay, well, then we don't have to go through because there's a lot of steps. There's like 46, and some of them get pretty detailed. So
I need to send that to me, and I'll print it out and I'll just read it in my spare time because I'm gonna have to. Sometimes I read at work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I got like downtime on my break or whatever, so I can do that then.
Okay.
But
I mean,
yeah,
I'm just laying these out because these are just quick. I'm quickly like compacting his whole idea. Like it's thousands of words each step for him, and I'm just telling the basic like nutshell of what he's getting at, just for the sake of like this podcast is following what writing is.
Right.
So we'll do a little bit of this if you guys get bored of this before I get to 46 or whatever. If we
inevitably go off on a tangent, we always
exactly.
do.
And that's fine. That's what podcasting is. It's cool. Like people expect tangents. That's the interesting stuff. So number one, love movies and start thinking about how story works in the things that you watch. Number two is figure out exactly what it is you want to say. Like, regardless whether you think a writer or a director is trying to say something with their art, they are saying something with their art. And it's a lot... It shows when somebody has something very specific they want to say, as opposed to just like, this would be cool. So like, what can we say about life or destiny or getting older or fate? You know, just any major themes that could resonate with our particular story.
Yeah, because I don't know all that much about the themes, but I know something I definitely can say is, this is kind of a really long, drawn-out thank you to everyone over at everyone who made the DC animated universe for sort of making my childhood continue to exist or whatever. So there's that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's relevant, but I'm going to call it relevant.
Yeah, it's definitely relevant. I mean, it has to be a total homage to that. Like, it's just going to be a tip of the hat the entire time. Mm-hmm. Number three, know how much work this is going to take. Experience is the only thing that will make us better. So, if we're on episode 100 and we're, like, fleshing out a scene that just isn't working for us, we just have to just keep talking and work through it. And then maybe even that scene that we spent that whole hour trying to get right, maybe we realize a week later it sucks, but we got better because we wrote that scene that sucked, and we can write something better.
It was like Edison. He failed 1,000 times before he made the light bulb.
Exactly.
And he said, they weren't failures. They were learning experiences.
Yeah, he learned 1,000 different ways not to make a light bulb.
That's it. That's what he said.
Yeah. Number 4, the script matters. Figuring it out in editing or whatever is bullshit. Basically, his point is, like, there are tons of movies that just go into production without having a secure script, and they're done by producers who are just like...
Michael Bay.
Hey, excuse you guys.
From the man who starts filming movies before he finishes the script.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there'll be... I'm sure Jerry Bruckheimer's just like, okay, and then midway through the movie we'll have a... fight in the woods, and then at the end of the movie we'll have a fight at the pyramids. Well, and that's how they go into the movie. They literally start making scenes like before that's figured out how or why they would be there, and that's totally anti whatever the word I'm trying to get is. That's totally not what script writing is. Like, you only write a scene if you have you only write a scene if you have a reason for the characters to be there.
Yeah, there's a lot of forced storytelling.
And I've kind of been fucking up on that because I keep writing scenes, but they're all relevant. I mean, to what I know the story is so far, and if they end up not being relevant, then we won't put them. But it's like, and I agree with this whole thing incredibly wholeheartedly. I I don't want this to be anything where we have to edit. We do the editing when we write it, and word for word. I mean, we edit the script. If there's any editing, it's done to that. Once that script's done and finalized, that's what we do. No deleted scenes, no anything like that. It's got to be, okay, this is the movie.
Yeah. I listened to...
Save us an animation cost, too.
Yeah. I listened to an interview, and they said on the animated series, from inception of an idea of one episode to finished script of that idea before they started working on anything else, storyboards, anything, it was 6 weeks, which is the amount of time they usually give, like, a 1 hour show. So, but 1 hour show, they can, like, tweak and edit, like, while they're filming it and stuff. But, like, they really, like, got those scripts as perfect as they can be before they did anything with it. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that's really cool. It's cool that they, like, that in... What did Batman the Animated Series air on?
Year-wise, 92 to 95.
No, I mean, like what network?
I want to say it was... I half want to say it was on that WB. I want to say.
Oh yeah, it was the WB. Was. So it's nuts that like they like that, which a network that did ultimately end up failing, gave that much time to just paying people to write scripts, when I'm sure a lot of other cartoons didn't get that amount of time. So that's cool. Number 5. Despite whatever world you are working in, you must tell an original story by relating to the world you're writing in and finding what within it compels you. So, he's saying that, like, again, there's no point in like, if Chris Nolan had just been given a chunk of money to make a Batman movie. Like, he had to find what compelled him about Batman's story in order to make it his own. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's sort of the same as the last one, whereas somebody just wanted to make another Transformers movie without having anything to say. You just have to find out, like, maybe somebody could have made Transformers movies that are good if they found something that was compelling about those characters and the universe that they're in and the situations that are there. And with the Batman universe that we're working in, there's so much that's already established that we can work with and find compelling.
Right, yeah, it's like, especially I want to see... I want to see Batman's evolution from, because this will go through the grassroots of what he eventually becomes at the beginning of Batman Beyond. He can't just show up with the suit, but he can. But like it, I want to see. I'm thinking he'll have some of the technologies that he incorporates in the later suit, the cloaking device, the ability to fly with the jet boots, things like that. Things that will counter the fact that he's getting slower.
Mm-hmm. Number 6. Writing and producing should be thought of as two separate things. It's not about getting this made right now. Focus on completing part 1, and that is writing a great screenplay that works, which is... There are two segments to what we're ultimately trying to do. And part 1 is we need to think of as, like, once we finish a great screenplay, we feel like we have a victory. Like, that is one of our 2 victories. Mm-hmm. And then we move on to phase 2, which is getting it made. He sort of repeats himself, but it sort of is a different point at the same time. Like,
right.
Just focus on... We should be proud of ourselves if we make a great screenplay. That is a great piece of art to be proud of. Mm-hmm. Is his thing.
The one thing I do want to add on that, though, is I want there's got to be a phase 1A. I do want to at least have a trailer out by the end of this year, if at all possible.
Oh yeah.
Because if we can do that, because we're not going to have we're not going to be able to write the whole screenplay and then have enough time at the end of the year to slap a trailer together out of that. We'll have to.
Right.
We'll have to, as we're coming up with the screenplay, come up with a trailer on the side or whatever.
Right. It's like how Pixar, it takes like 4 or 5 years for a Pixar movie to get made, but they'll release a trailer that is not even a scene from a movie or it might be in the movie and it might not, but it's just like they'll release something that is, get excited for this. This is the world you're getting into, and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool that they do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we could definitely do something like that. I mean, like I said, I had one in my head from the last episode for a trailer, then we could totally do something like that.
Mm-hmm. And again, like, if it works in the movie, great. And if it doesn't, it got people excited for the movie, so
yeah, it
awesome.
served its purpose.
Yeah.
Trailers are disposable.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's totally, like, doable, and I don't think...
that should count against it.
Yeah, exactly. Number 7, empathy is your new best friend. Empathy is what binds human beings together. Make the audience be able to understand your characters, even the ones they don't root for, because empathy and likability are not the same thing. So ask big questions like, what is it that makes this character good/troubled? Like, we need to understand why everybody is doing everything on a plot level and on, like, a character level of, like, what's driving them, like, why. And, like, again, since we're in the Batman universe, we already know Batman's sad because his parents died when he was young. So,
oh crap, his parents died?
but still, yeah, we just need to understand everything about every character. It can't be convoluted as to why people are doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, beware the lure of indulgence. Don't be Entourage. Indulgence only works in an instance like Crank, where... Have you guys seen Crank?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Okay.
I've seen parts of it.
Okay, it's like just like throwing in your face, like how, like, ridiculous, like, we are indulging. Isn't this ridiculous? Like, that is part of that movie, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, indulging too much in, like, one thing that you think is cool just to, like, do that and not be part of the story is... Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but, like, if you were to read this guy's essays about each of these points, you'll see, like, how he expands or goes into different territories. But that's the gist of what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Only indulge if you want the audience to know you're indulging. Number 9, the consistency of character motive. What makes a story choice a good one or a bad one? Always ask, would the character actually do that? If they do something out of character, it has to be out of a natural change and be explained. Make the character go where they have to go, not where the story wants them to go.
Right, it's like what they did with Picard in First Contact. How they just completely erased every figment of his character for the sake of him getting mad and breaking his little spaceships. And then telling everyone to get off the Enterprise so he can fight the Borg, which he never once said that he wanted to do.
I'm not up on the track, so I wish I could.
Neither am I. I think that's the only Star Trek movie I've actually seen other than the J.J. Abrams one.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
But we watched the Red Letter Media review of Star Trek First Contact, and he brings that up. It's just like, in the show, he never once acted like he did in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And something really important we have to remember about what we're doing is one of the reasons that the Batman animated series was hailed so well is because of its writing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of focus has to go into that.
Yeah. Like, they won so many Emmys for the writing of that show.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, 5 in 4 years. Which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 10 is getting into character and doing character trees, which we did on the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
When we built Batman. So, we did 10. Do you want to go into what did you say you want to go into?
Yeah, I I had an idea for a scene. We mentioned in last week's episode about possibly including a secondary villain such as the Clock King.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be really cool. Now, of course, we've mentioned in this, don't do that. It would be really cool to see yada yada yada, but
it's okay to do it on a story level. Just don't do it because you're just like, I want to see this. Wouldn't that be cool? Just pointlessly. So,
just coming up with things.
Yeah,
just brainstorming more than anything else. But for some reason or another, the Clock King and a couple of Ra's al Ghul's henchmen have shown up at the Batcave. Ra's is just like, well, screw this. I know who he is. Why don't I send someone over there to go kill his ass? Because I'm a bad guy and I do that. But because when Batman first met Ra's al Ghul, it was in the Batcave, so he knows where it is.
Yeah.
But what happens is that Batman's fighting off these henchmen, and the Clock King is he's like, let's see if we can get rid of this accursed bat computer or something. He has some motive to be away from the rest of the fight going on, and he goes to shut down the bat computer or something, and Alfred comes up and whacks him with his cane, and it hits him in the head. And the Clock King turns around, and the Clock King's an older guy, but not quite as old as Alfred is at this point. And he says something to the tune of, well, I don't know if I should kill you or if I should just wait 10 minutes. And Alfred's like, how dare you? And the Clock King, he has this time belt that allows him to speed up or slow down time around himself. And what happens is that he trips, and the belt malfunctions. His foot is caught, and he falls over, and you just see him age accelerate like a million years in like a second, and he just dusts.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And then, Batman finishes fighting his henchman, and he comes up to Alfred, and he's like, are you alright? Wait, what happened to him? And Alfred's like, he called me old, sir.
That's fucking awesome.
But,
that's great.
I don't think at this point in the story it would be, and especially since we're going to kind of, we're going to kind of be traveling on forwards, and it's going to be a little more adult movie. Having people die on the screen isn't like taboo as it was with most of the DCAU. Not all of it. Sometimes it happened, but
I know you were saying that you don't want it to be like too coincidental of an occurrence where like a whole bunch of things happen in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was thinking what makes Mask of the Phantasm great is it
actually did happen that way.
Yeah, it did. and like it just shows like a big event in Bruce's life, like a big deciding event, and based on somebody he was close to. Mm-hmm. And at this point in our story, where the one we're writing, like the only real people he's close to is just Alfred, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, do you not think it would be cool to find a way that would serve the story to make Alfred's death in this story?
I thought, because I had thought of it. I thought maybe somehow Ra's al Ghul orchestrated his death,
mm-hmm.
and then it would make it really personal.
Yeah.
The thing is, I guess the more the point I was trying to get at, because in Mask of the Phantasm, you have all this stuff happening at the same time, but it was cause and effect. They all happened because the rest of them happened. happened. Nothing,
Yeah.
If any one of those events hadn't have occurred, none of them would have occurred.
Right.
It's
You're saying we don't want like a wink at the camera, like
Barbara Gordon becomes police commissioner in the movie for reasons that aren't related to the rest of the plot. It wouldn't make sense for all that stuff to happen at the same time. But it's feasible that Alfred could die, and as a result of the events that are going on here, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've established that we can't have the Beyond suit in here, but I did realize that he could do some upgrades to that fireproof Batsuit that he had in Torch Song.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, and I think it's what the Batman Beyond suit was based on. We were doing some concept work.
Yeah, we did comparisons.
Yeah, and the comparisons we'll show you at some point. We had the Bruce in his Beyond suit, then the fireproof bat suit, and then the prototype bat armor, the mech suit that he had. And the similarities between the three of them, we actually chalked it up to, man, their creativity went into the writing, I guess. But it's like the mech suit actually had the exact same helmet from the fireproof Batsuit. The fireproof Batsuit had the same belt as the Beyond suit, the same pretty much just jet black jumpsuit. It also had these cufflinks, I guess. Who has something like that? I'm sure somebody else has something similar to that in the DCAU, but really that was the only difference that set it apart from an amalgamation of the other two suits.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty crazy just to see that they're so similar that there has to be a lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Is either that or Bruce Wayne's just like, okay, so let's just take this blank face that we know what that looks like, and here's some suit. Okay, he just puts them together like Legos. Unless it's something like that, then there has to be some sort of development lineage between them.
And do we have to make reference to the separate suits, or can we just show him upgrading his one suit? Because I'm just saying, is there a point in throwing out information about separate suits to an audience that isn't necessarily nerdy about the universe and knows about different suits? Maybe that if my mom watched it, she could just follow along and be like, okay, Batman's upgrading his suit.
Mm-hmm. I story-wise, I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it would be necessary on the point of just standalone movie, but story-wise, it wouldn't make sense for him to, for example, that prototype Batsuit that he builds, that was actually that was the progenitor to a new Batsuit. And it actually ended up being important in a later story. And since we are going through Batman trying to come up with new ideas for his suit, naturally that's one of his ideas.
Okay.
That it would be necessary to see at least that one. And if we see that one, then we'd have to see at least, because there's like I said, the other suits, they seem to share just like I said, you have to see the pictures to just look at them.
Right.
Even the shading is the same. It's uncanny. They're all from the same show, so they're gonna kind of look the same. But something like that. As far as the story goes, it almost wouldn't make sense for them not to be there.
No, you convinced me. I got you. Okay. So we got that our one sentence, our Netflix description, in that 10-step snowflake method to writing a screenplay. That was step 1. Step 2, take another hour and expand that sentence to a full paragraph describing the story setup, major disasters, and ending of the screenplay. Ideally, your paragraph will have about 5 sentences. 1 sentence to give me the backup and story setup, then 1 sentence for each of your 3 disasters, which is like acts in the movie, and then 1 more sentence to tell the ending. Now, we don't have to do this right now, but that brings up a point that I want to get into about a later step on this Hulk thing. So let me find it in here. Okay. We're going to skip, we did 1 through 10. We're going to skip to number 21. The myth of the 3-act structure. Beginning, middle, end is not all you need to know to write a story, is his point here. Act. Definition of act in the terms of screenplay and storytelling. Act equals anytime a character makes a decision from which they can no longer go back. And the story can have as many acts as one calls for. Malcolm X has 9. But all the geniuses, all the major works of art, all of them have 5 acts. William Shakespeare, every single play, 5 acts. Quentin Tarantino, every single movie, 5 acts. And basically every single episode of TV that's ever been written is in 5 acts. There's even a way in which every single scene should feel like its own mini act that accomplishes some story point and propels you further. So basically I would love to shoot for 5 acts.
Okay.
But we could go through when we rewatch Return of the Joker and whatever and see if we can spot out the story arcs and acts and like how that breaks down, because at the end of all of these points he will repeat his last point is like, again, none of these rules matter because you're telling your story, and if it makes sense for your story then you can change it. Like he said, Malcolm X has 9 acts. That's what it needed to tell that whole story. But he breaks down the ideal, what each act is like, and in the terms of Shakespeare and Tarantino and all of that. Suggestive act action. If you guys are fine with me leading and getting into this.
Okay.
Okay. First act. Pre-existing central main conflict. It creates a condition of the world the audience is entering. Second act. Usually comprised of some kind of turn or reversal, which challenges or deeply worsens the main conflict, usually in the form of relationship development, reveal, or surprise. Basically, this act features the main development of the story. Meaning, if you had to explain to somebody what the movie is about, the conflict being described should be the thing that is happening somewhere in here, revealed in whichever way that would benefit the story most. And another one of his points is that in all the great scripts that have ever come out of Hollywood, anywhere, whatever, page 17 is some like this magic number. Like 17 is like when the script kicks into gear and you leave the first act and go into the second act. He's saying that like by page 17 the audience should have an idea where the film's going. Third act is a turning point, often a surprising moment. They deeply affect not only the seriousness of the main conflict, but the actual direction of it. It's climax-worthy in scale because of the drama. The real key is to make it the turning point, one that is deeply affecting and to change the arc of the story. Fourth act is the downward spiral, full of decisions that cause characters to sink towards the real climax. I'm not expecting you guys to remember this, like all like this. I'm just like laying it out. Alright, it's full of decisions that cause characters to sink toward the real climax. This is the point where you really arrange and set up the climax. But in that goal, it's important to remember to stay true to character arcs. It's really the best place to expose the deep character flaws that will either bring down the hero or allow them to succeed. This is always a great opportunity for quiet moments of reflection before the finale, but it cannot just be all reflection and pausing. The full of decisions aspect still needs to be there. The pace should quicken. Things should feel like they were falling out of control. The spiral. And the fifth act, where the audience gets the climax / resolution / weddings, tragedy, fallout, etc. The most important thing is to remember that it should not just wrap things up, but it is the encapsulation of the story and should exhibit all the points you were trying to make in the movie. The climax and resolution is the goal of your movie. It should be the summation of everything written so far, not an afterthought. So to lay those 5 acts out, you got the intro, the conceit, the turn, the spiral, and the climax. So if we move back to that 10-step snowflake method of writing a screenplay, that 1 paragraph, those 5 sentences, are each of those acts. So if you guys want to think about that for next time or something. And obviously it's something that will change a lot.
Okay. Can we pause this so that I can just jot those down real quick or something?
Yeah, I can email it to you or Facebook message it to you.
Oh, yeah, just Facebook the quick... Or actually, Facebook me the whole text of that step.
Okay.
And I'll read that as I'm doing a paragraph.
Okay.
And I can do that probably get started on that tonight.
And we can all think about it and bring ideas out and stuff. And this is the part where we actually like lay out our story and the acts and beats and stuff. Something we haven't really totally gotten into.
It would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have an idea. All of us, what this story is going to be.
Yeah.
What if we each did this separately?
I was actually just going to suggest that.
Yeah, let's each come up with a paragraph, including you. And we all bring these paragraphs to the table and we combine them into the ideal, perfect, okay, we can all get into this.
Yeah. Yeah. You're awfully quiet, Sean.
Just continue. Just trying to listen and get ideas and think in my head.
I know, it's cool. I'm just giving you a hard time. Alright, I have sent that to you.
Awesome.
Should I send it to you too?
Actually, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Are we Facebook friends?
I had no idea.
You can still message him even if you aren't, then add him.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean, what do you have, like 9 or 10 Facebook friends, something like that?
What's your last name?
Dillon.
Kenn Edwards meets Sean Dillon. Yeah. We're 3 weeks into making a movie. We're just now learning each other's names.
And who are you? All your shirt says is Vincent.
Like Steve or Jeff or something.
Wait, how do you spell Sean?
S-E-A-N.
D-Y-L-A-N?
D-I-L-L-O-N.
Oh. That makes more sense.
The irony of this is great. I don't know if it's ironic, but it's just funny.
Alright, so we're friends now, and I sent that to you.
Awesome.
Well, we'll be friends when you say we're friends. I'm trying to be friends at this moment.
You're coming on strong.
But oh yeah, this is going back to were we done on this? Was there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean I think I read a lot.
Okay. I wanted to, while I had him in my head, the 2 other scene ideas that I had. Okay. The first one is a fight scene involving Batman and a couple of criminals. I actually came up with sort of choreography as to what's going on, and that's something I want to add here is a very small tangent. When we do fight scenes, because there are going to be fight scenes because this is a Batman film, animating something like that is hard. Visualizing something like that is really hard. I mean, but from my experience with coming up with choreography for lightsaber duels, I don't think that it is I don't think that it would be any sort of difficult to, when we come up with the fight scene choreography, we actually live action film that fight as a reference for the animators.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so, but here's the fight scene as I came up with it, and this involves. Yeah, this would probably be a fight scene earlier in the movie after Batman has given himself some new toys to play with.
Mm-hmm.
What he does, he's already knocked out one guy who's got a riot shield. And he picks up the riot shield as the other three guys are shooting at him. And he disappears behind the riot shield. And he uses his cloaking device and hurls it at the one guy and knocks him out. And the other two guys are like freaking out. They're like, what is going on? And the one guy's like, what is he, like a ghost or something? And he just hears next to him, not yet. You see the gun pulled out of his hand, smacks him in the face with it, knocks him out cold, and drops it. And that's when his cloak fades out.
Yeah,
he will be on a limited time span to do that. The technology's not refined yet, so it'll only have like a 15-20 minute. It'll be the same thing with the jets, But the third guy is just like, oh god, and starts shooting at him. But you'll see this from his point of view. He's shaking so bad, he is terrified. He can't get a shot off on Batman, who's like 10 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
He can't hit him. And Batman just starts walking towards him in like the most menacing possible way. And then he finally, when he's within arm's reach, the guy's just like, points it right at his face. And Batman's just like, rips the gun out of his hand, field strips it, takes it apart in all its basic pieces, and drops it on the ground at the guy's feet. And the guy's just he's just like, right this way, Mr. Batman. So, and Batman offers a polite thank you right before clubbing in the head and knocking him out.
That's awesome.
So I think that'd be pretty cool. That's the problem, because I'm trying to get away from that. Oh man, what'd be really cool is if we had this.
But that's like a little thing where like Batman's going to encounter some henchmen,
right? But the thing is that you've got, when I come up, every lightsaber fight that I've come up with was based around, oh, this would look really cool. Mm-hmm. So would this. Mm-hmm. How can I put them together? Mm-hmm. And when we start filming the one that we're going to film next month, the one that I've had that fight in my head for like 5 years. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to film it like 3 times, and we kept failing, and this time we're not going to fail because I actually am going to prevent failure by killing people that would cause it. But anyway, the second scene that I had in mind was, this is really early first draft sort of stuff, but the final scene of, right after the conflict has finished. So you've got, Batman and Talia looking down on the defeated Ra's al Ghul, who is currently visibly aging. The serum his reverse-engineered Lazarus Pit can't kill him right away because of his exposure to the Lazarus Pit over the past 600 years. Is sort of staving it off, but just barely. And he beckons to Talia. And Talia turns to Batman and is like, I have to. I have to. I owe him that. And Batman's like, you don't owe him anything. He's a genocidal maniac. And Talia's like, no, what he is my father. What if it were your father? What would you do? And he gets pissed. And he's like, how dare you compare my father to that madman? Fine. see him if you must, Miss Al Ghul. And walks away.
Yeah.
And Talia runs to Raish and is like, I can save you, I can get you into the Lazarus pit. No, it won't work. As the detective explained earlier, the serum will counteract anything the Lazarus pit can possibly do. What you can do, take me to the machine, transfer some of your life force to me, then use the Lazarus pit yourself, and I can use it by proxy. So she does. Straps his now almost corpse into the machine. And then she straps herself into the machine, and the thing like blocks up. It's got, you know, like the cufflinks or whatever. And Raish just whispers, "Computer, activate program transfer." And then computer says, "Program transfer activated. Spirit transfer and overwriting initiating." And Talia is like, "What?" And Raish Al Ghul says something to the tune of, you're really far too trusting to someone that you've betrayed about 3 times now. I have to ensure to it that cannot happen again."
Dude,
and this machine does not transfer life force. It transfers your spirit. Sadly, for you, it will only work at this point in its development on a genetic match. This is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Fuck.
And Talia finally gives up struggling. She knows she can't get out of the thing. She's just like, "One day my beloved will make you pay for your atrocities." And Raish Al Ghul is just like, the disrespectfulness of an unruly daughter. I won't miss it. Goodbye, Talia.
That is fucking insane.
And then Talia just closes her eyes, and her last thought is she remembers herself kissing Batman on their date in Milan. And she just thinks to herself, "Goodbye, my beloved." And then her mind is wiped completely clean. Talia dies right there. And then the computer says, mind purge complete, transferring mind. And then you see Talia open her eyes, but with like the evil vigor of Raish Al Ghul, and unlocks himself from the machine, grabs the Luger P08 pistol that Talia always carries on her, and starts running towards Batman, just like, "Beloved, wait!" And trying to slow him down. And like, she begins to unholster her pistol, and Batman doesn't see this, but all he sees is Talia's face, and he just scowls and flies away. And then right at that moment, Talia pulls her gun and lines up to kill him. And he's too far away at this point. And this scene is inspired by the beginning scene in Inglourious Bastards, where he goes to shoot the Jewish girl, but he can't. He's too far away. It's just like, and Raish just says, "Until next time, then, detective."
Dude, that's amazing. You just laid out like that final act there, like the end of it at least.
I thought that came for a first draft at least.
Dude, yes, that's incredible. And it's not even like you're not doing anything like, you're not just saying, "Oh, we'll have a fight at the Lazarus pits." You're not just doing like, "Oh, it would be cool if blah blah blah." Like you're thinking about character and like beats of story and like resolution, and like that's awesome.
I mean, and I want to
give you chills.
I know. I was so into it.
So good then, right?
Yes, yes.
I just have this vision of this, when when Talia / Race is looking down the sight of her gun, the smile on her face, this evil grin. I want that to be terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, I want that to see that Talia is dead, and just like almost all trace of humanity is gone from this person.
Dude, this is nuts.
And that I think, because I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was just like, Talia loves her father, but would she really give her life for him? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I do know for a fact that Ra's al Ghul would be willing to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he attempts it several times, actually. In this, and should finally succeed. And that sets it up for Out of the Past.
Totally.
So, but I think that'll work then, right?
Yes. And I don't think there's a higher note we could go out on this week than that, if you guys are fine with ending it there.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
I agree with you.
Yeah. That was excellent.
I don't think we'll top it.
Until next time, same bat place.
Same bet.
Alright. Swear to me.